World War III started tomorrow, most countries would collapse within hours. But a few places on Earth might actually survive. Global tensions are rising faster than ever before. In our previous videos, we explored how World War III could begin and who the major powers might be. But today, we are focusing on something far more important: survival. If the unthinkable actually happens, where on Earth would you truly be safe? Most people imagine remote islands or hidden places. But in reality, safety is not just about distance. It depends on food security, energy independence, geography, and political neutrality. So today, we are counting down the top 5 safest places in the world if a global conflict breaks out. Let's begin. At number 5 is Iceland. Iceland is one of the most isolated countries on Earth, sitting alone in the North Atlantic Ocean. That isolation alone makes it an unlikely target in a global war. But Iceland's real strength is something most countries don't have: energy independence. Thanks to geothermal activity, Iceland can produce massive amounts of clean energy from beneath the Earth's surface. Even if global supply chains collapse, Iceland can still power its homes, heat its buildings, and grow food in greenhouses. It is also consistently ranked among the most peaceful countries in the world. At number 4 is Switzerland. For more than 2 centuries, Switzerland has maintained strict neutrality in global conflicts. But neutrality is only part of the story. Switzerland is naturally protected by the Alps, creating a massive defensive barrier. On top of that, it has one of the most advanced civil defense systems in the world, including nuclear fallout shelters designed for nearly its entire population. Even if Europe becomes unstable, Switzerland's geography and preparation make it one of the hardest places to reach or damage. At number 3 is New Zealand. If a large-scale war breaks out, most conflict zones would likely be concentrated in the Northern Hemisphere. New Zealand, located far in the South Pacific, is extremely distant from major military powers. But distance is not its only advantage. It also has fertile land, stable governance, and the ability to produce enough food for its population. Even if global trade stops completely, New Zealand could continue functioning as a self-sustaining society. But wait, the number 1 country might surprise you completely. At number 2 is Bhutan. Hidden deep in the Himalayas, Bhutan is one of the most geographically isolated countries in the world. It has no major strategic military importance, and it avoids deep involvement in global power politics. Its mountainous terrain also makes large-scale military movement extremely difficult. Because of this combination of isolation and neutrality, Bhutan often goes unnoticed in global conflicts, exactly what makes it potentially safer than most countries. And finally, at number 1, is not a country, but a continent: Antarctica. Under the Antarctic Treaty System, the entire region is dedicated to peaceful scientific research only. No military activity is allowed. It is also one of the most remote places on Earth, far away from any major population centers or military targets. In a worst-case global scenario, Antarctica could become one of the only places where human activity continues relatively undisturbed, at least temporarily. However, it is important to remember, it is not designed for permanent survival. While these places may be relatively safer based on geography and politics, there is one hard truth. In a real World War III scenario, no place on Earth can be considered completely safe. Modern warfare is global. Nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, and economic collapse would affect even the most remote regions. Safety is not about escaping the world. It's about how the world itself changes. So the real question is not just where you would go, but how the world would survive it all. What do you think? Which place would you choose?